Johnny sang about a Saturday special. Back then, how could he know about a thing we call skinformation? How you get it on the Stone Roadie show. It's a Saturday night special with everything that you need to know. It's a Saturday night special with Craig and Kathy on the Stone Roadie show.
Hey Stoned Roadie Show fans, I'm Shelby Barrett, the official Stonette for the Stoned Roadie Show, and this is Saturday Night Special with Craig Reed and Kathy GODSEY.
Podcast 195, the Stoned Roadie Show. Action. Alrighty, fellow Earthlings, looky here, looky here. This is another edition of the Stoned Roadie Show Saturday Night Special. And I'm your host, Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stoned Roadie. And this is my co-host, the lovely Kathy GODSEY. So what have we got planned for these people on this lovely Saturday night there, Kathy GODSEY?
Well, looky, that's right. A couple of people asked, where's Kathy GODSEY? And they wanted you to fill in somebody else when I'm not here. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Craig doesn't need to do 4 podcasts a week. So I was offended by that. But I do have 2 jobs. So you know what, but I do like
they
to come
said
around.
When you're not available, I goes, well, you know, she's available. She only does them every couple, 2-3 weeks. She's always available.
I know.
You know, so
Well,
and
too
I
much
don't
of a
want to
good
do 4 a week anyways. God, 3 weeks too much anyways.
I know it's a lot of pressure. I mean, you guys did 1 a week on Wednesday, and I can't even keep up with these 3 a week.
I
Crazy.
don't do them. I just show up. Griff puts them together.
Yeah.
You put them together. I just show up, and that's
Well,
about it for me.
I'm not doing them every Saturday night, I'll tell you right now, so forget it. I'll show up every couple of weeks and I'm doing. But I know it's
every
190.
couple of days, man. I'm going, God Almighty. It seems like them giveaways, man. It seems like they're getting closer and closer together. It's been another week already. My God, yeah.
I know. Give Craig a chance to get the stuff together and mail it out before
Yeah,
you do
man.
another
Oh my
drawing, you
God.
know?
Yeah. It's been, yeah. I've had a tough life in the last couple of days. It's been.
And then people are complaining there's not enough skinformation. They're complaining about this, all the complainers. Wow. Stop complaining. You know what? This is a labor of love here, right? So
Well,
I think I got a lot of skinformation tonight because I did a little research. I was working on this today during my lunch break because I do work summer school. So I'm never really off. And before we start, I want to say thank you to Disciple Dave for this cool Skynyrd bling t-shirt. I love it. Thank you, Dave. I'm going to be calling him next week, and I'm going to be calling Cousin Figel next week to see how they're doing. But Dave is so cool. He sends so many cool things, but I love this shirt. So thank you so much. But anyway, so yeah. So, oh, by the way, you said this is 195. So are we going to do a 200? I can come around for a 200 if you want to do one.
Griff was asking me what we were going to do for 200. I said, God, I don't know. We didn't do anything special for 100 or 50 or 25 or we never, I don't know.
Wait a minute. I thought didn't we have everybody on for the 100? It wasn't the one where we had the multiple screens with a lot of people
Oh, maybe
on?
we did. Yeah. Maybe we did.
Yeah.
Do that. Yeah.
So,
See, I don't know.
yeah, think about that.
Yeah.
If you guys want to do it, I'll make myself available,
Okay.
for that. So, yeah, I think that was the one we had all the different screens with everybody on. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think that's what we came up with, something to do. Yeah, had a bunch of people on at the same time. Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay. All right. So, and then also, today's July 12th. Next Friday will be Alan's birthday. Happy birthday to Alan in heaven. And Alan would have been 72 years old next Friday, July 19th. So, Craig, I sent you a copy of the restored photo that Alan signed for me at his home in 1980. So anytime you want to use that as a background pic or something, that's free for you to use.
You mean that
There,
one?
there it is. Yeah. So that was the picture that Alan signed at his house, and it really changed a lot of color. You could see where he wrote to Kathy, "God bless you, Alan Collins." If you move it up, you see the autograph. And what I did was last year, I brought it to a camera store and they scanned the original picture and they restored it for me. And that's the restored version. And actually, I sent a copy to Kathy Keeble. I made her one, and I sent one to Dave, Disciple Dave, a framed one. So they're the two people who have a copy of that. And you could see where the bottom is cut off, but that's where Alan wrote the picture to me. That was really nice. So I have the original in my safe, all locked up for safekeeping. And it's not for sale. So forget it. Don't anybody ask me for it. But you know, Craig, if you're ever interested in maybe I can make a copy or donate, or you can make a copy and donate it to somebody, to the survivors, if you want to raise money for it or something like that. That would be fine. If you want to make a
Yeah,
copy.
yeah,
That's
we'll
something.
do something with it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, the restored copy, but I love it. So happy birthday and have heaven to Alan. His birthday will be next Friday the 19th. And I just want to say continued prayers to cousin Figel. I've been meaning to call him. I'll be calling him next week. And do want to give a shout out to Mitch Scooby. He did really, really something nice for one of the survivors. And Craig, why don't you talk about what Mitch Scooby did? It was really kind of him.
Well, I guess Mark Howard had that hurricane go through there. You know, it's been like 100 and some degrees down there where Mark lives in Texas, and I guess his electricity went out um, um, for a couple days, and then when it came back on, his air conditioning went out,
Oh,
and so. Mitch, helped him out and knew somebody down there, and to do it, and then it turned out that the guy was real close to where Mark was, and yeah, and I guess Mitch went ahead and paid the service call to get the guy over there, and
mhm.
so the guy went over and fixed it, and got him going. And I talked to Mark, and I said, "How was that AC?" And he goes, "Oh my God, that was great."
Oh, that's so nice. Oh my goodness. That was a nice thing for him to do.
It's man, it's hot. Yeah, I guess I asked him how he's doing with his leg, because he got his leg cut off. He says he's got a lot of ghost pain. I guess it's when they take your leg.
Oh,
I don't know. It's guess I guess that's what they call it. Even though it hasn't got a leg there, it still hurts.
oh, poor guy. Oh,
Yeah, and
well,
that's not fun when God, when you're trying to sleep and you have pain like that. Life is miserable. So what are you
yeah.
so
You
yeah,
know,
that's cool, Mitch. Thinking of
no,
it.
when you were talking about the hurricane, were you talking about Hurricane Beryl, the one from last
Beryl,
week?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought that was out in the
Yeah,
Caribbean.
it knocked his electricity out. He's been out
Oh
without
my God.
electricity. I guess he had another tree go down and took out his electricity, and his electricity came back on. And he went, "Oh God, thank God!" And then his air conditioning went out, and I guess
Oh,
he posted. He goes, "Oh God," he said, "Now my air conditioning's out." So yeah, Mitch knew somebody down there and sent him over there and took care of it for him. So yeah, thanks, Mitch.
nice guy. And do you know what
Yeah,
part of
Mitch
Texas?
was on our one of our podcasts. God, I don't remember which one. It was way up
Yeah.
there in the early teens or something like that. It was way up there.
Yeah, I remember that. I think he may have popped on for the 100th too, if I recall.
Yeah. You're right. He did come on for the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And your son was on. Chad was on.
Now I remember. Yeah, you're shaking up the marbles. As you,
I remember that one.
yeah.
And
Now I remember. Yeah, yeah.
so also, what part of Texas does Mark live in? Do you know where in Texas?
Pasadena, I think.
Oh, okay. You just reminded me my nephew, Tommy Holden's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Tommy, my nephew. He's in Austin. So I don't know. I know he says it's hot in summertime, so I have to give him a call, see how he's doing. But yeah, Texas is a hot place. So well, I'm glad that Mark is back in service and got his air back on. That's good. And then you know what? We've been talking a lot about the books. I know you guys had Sally Arnold on a couple of weeks ago, and you've been talking about her book, but there are a lot of other really, really good books. I just want to mention that I have. I have most of them. This one is Tales from the Rock and Roll Highway by Marley Brandt. These all have really good Skynyrd stories and Skynyrd information in them. So check it out. I have both of Gene's books. This one is Lynyrd Skynyrd, Remembering the Freebirds of Southern Rock. Excellent book. This one, Lynyrd Skynyrd, An Oral History by Lee Ballinger. Excellent. They're all excellent books. I would recommend any of them for people who want information about Skynyrd. Here's another one. As I recall, Jacksonville's Place in American Rock History from 1964 to 1987. And
Yeah,
this
that's
one,
from our friend um,
Larry Steele.
Larry Steele. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And then this one, Freebirds, the Lynyrd Skynyrd Story by Marley Brandt. These books are incredible. Your name is in most of them. Sometimes I look through the index and I'm like, where's Craig's name?
Well,
Let's see
you
what they did
didn't
there.
mention Ron Eckerman's book because I haven't sent it to you yet.
Well, you know what? Well, I only mentioned it because we talk about those a lot. Paul Abraham and Ron Eckerman's book, we talk about a lot. Those are great books too. Paul Abraham, I bought
Oh
his
yeah.
book from him a year and a half ago, directly from him, and he signed it for me. Yeah, whenever you get around to sending me the book that cousin Figel sent to you to send to me like 6 months ago, I
Well,
appreciate it.
He sent me boxes full of stuff from the Freebird Foundation, and it's
Uh,
like flyers from the Freebird. And I guess
oh,
that book, I still have that stuff out there. It's still
I'm
out
not
there. I gotta
surprised.
go through it and see what it's all done. He sent me a whole stack of guitar player magazines. Um,
Oh,
that he used to
wow.
collect. So if anybody out there is into collectible guitar player magazines, or if anybody interested in all that Freebird Foundation stuff, it's pretty interesting stuff. All that stuff. But that's where cousin Figel got that hat too. And he still got that hat.
Yeah.
I put it up on eBay and didn't get really no real goal action on it, so I took it back down and we're gonna play with it again, I guess. But
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
but
maybe people are away on vacation. Maybe people are not really looking on eBay too much, but we'll just keep putting it out there that the money is to help cousin Figel too, so that if
yeah,
anybody's interested, check it out.
I haven't been selling anything on eBay here lately,
Mhm.
and you'd ask me to. You asked me about one of those stickers that I gave you, those baseball stickers, and
Yeah.
uh, and I said, well, how much I wanted for one, and I told you, I said, I don't sell those. I put them up on eBay every now and then, and people buy them, but I haven't sold anything on eBay for months. So
Right.
people aren't watching my stuff. So just because that guy wanted one, I put one up for sale, and for sale last week, and it went for a pretty reasonable price, a lot less than they normally do, because nobody's been
Yeah.
watching my stuff.
Right.
Yeah, anybody
Yeah.
haven't seen that hat? There's cousin
Aw, that's
Figel's.
really nice.
That's the bottom of it. I got the other pictures over here, but
I see Ricky's signature on there. Huey. I see a lot of
yeah,
signatures. Wow, Billy. Wow. That's a
yeah,
really nice
it's
hat.
all of the tribute band 2004
Mhm.
tribute band 2004, plus some
Okay.
of the 38 special guys. Yeah, it's got Billy on it. Ian and Gary and
Okay.
Dale. Yeah, cool hat. It's in memory of Ronnie hat. I think when cousin Fijo got it at 1993, I think is when he got it. Yeah, it was signed in 2004. He got it in 93. I think it cost him $2,500, to
Really? Oh boy.
at the off of Judy at the Freebird Foundation. Yeah, and then he had it signed and stuff. So
And
he'd
he
like
was
to get
standing
he
next
would like
to,
to get at least that much for it.
who is he standing with in the picture? Was it Melody in the picture?
Melody, yeah, Melody.
Melody. Okay. Okay. All right. You want to start talking about, let's get down to these questions and topics and the skin information that everybody's complaining. We want skin information. So I got a lot of skin information for you today, guys. Oh, there you go. Commercials. Okay.
That's not
Parsons,
commercial.
we're doing ads now.
Parsons Land Clearing and Services. Yeah, he was supposed to come up Monday and do my pond, but we
Okay.
postponed it. We just had that rain come through here, and it's a little damp, so we're gonna
Okay.
wait another week. It's a good idea. And
Very nice.
there's cousin Vigil, and he was young and
Oh,
handsome
yeah.
with Melody.
What a pretty girl. She has her father's smile. Oh my goodness. She's a beautiful girl.
Yeah,
Look at cousin Vigil.
wearing
Oh,
that
what a nice guy. Oh,
hat. Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you next week, cousin Vigil. We're gonna talk for
Yeah,
a
I
little
think
bit.
that's when I met him actually, when he was there and got that
Oh,
hat signed, had him and his son. I think that's
yeah.
when I met
God, she has her father's face. I can't believe how much she looks like her father. That's crazy.
him.
Same face. All righty. So you know what? I want to give a shout. Actually, I want to read a shout out to you from the Backcountry Hunter. He says, you know, Craig, hands down, you are the unchallenged, unstoppable, I'm sorry, untoppable, unsurpassed, and undefeated as the world's most famous stoned roadie. Just be, just being in 3 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame bands alone should end the conversation. Reed, your title is home run safe as far as we're all concerned, and a roadie section in the Hall of Fame is a no-brainer. Like the Stones roadie jackets used to say, roadies make rockers roll.
Well, you asked, we were kind of did a little, you kind of did a little advance on me on some of the questions we had.
Mhm.
And you were asking me if in the movie Almost Famous, that was,
Mhm.
because, I knew Cameron and he toured with us, and that movie was supposed to be somewhat about Lynyrd Skynyrd, although he made it about a fictitious band so he wouldn't have any conflict. But it was a multitude of bands put together and kind of into a fictitious band. But somebody asked if one of those characters was me.
Mhm.
I'd like to think that I was, but me and you know um, Cameron knew that I was one of the head roadies with Skinner, and one of them might have been a character that emulated me. I don't know. I can't say, but we were talking about Red Dog was actually in that
Mhm.
movie, and I've always said that yeah, people call me the world's most famous roadie, but when Ronnie said, "I'm going to make you the first roadie millionaire," I immediately said that, well, Ronnie, Red Dog, from the Allman Brothers was, I think he already accomplished that goal. And he said, "Well, you wouldn't mind being second, though, would you?" Goes, "No, not at all." And Red Dog was kind of. I've heard that he was like one of the first roadies, because he was the roadie with the Allman Brothers when they started the Fillmore and stuff like that. So Red Dog was, he was a really popular roadie. But every time people say that I'm the most famous roadie, I always try to think of somebody, that I always thought was the most famous roadie. But the people that I think of that were famous roadies, nobody's ever heard of. So I guess,
Mhm.
if nobody's ever heard of you, you're not a very famous roadie. But, a few
That's
people
right.
know about Red Dog, but I don't know if more people know about me than Red Dog or not. But, that's still up in the air. It's the title's still claimable. Anybody wants
That's
it.
right. Anybody wants it.
When I claimed it, it was just a joke. I said, "Yeah, I'm the most." People say you're the most famous roadie ever. I said, "Yeah, I'm the most famous. I'm the most famous stone roadie ever." As a joke. I thought, somebody would contest it, but it's been a couple years. Nobody's ever contested it. It's kind of amusing to me, but yeah, it's open for conversation.
So let me just clarify. So the most famous roadie is open for to be claimed, but you are undoubtedly and unarguably the most famous stoned roadie. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
it.
that's true.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
it. And
I'm the most famous
there's
stone
never going to
roadie.
be anyone to you can't even argue that. So forget it, people.
Whether I can hold both titles or not, that's left to be seen. But
Well,
that'd be cool. But I was the most
ha-
famous stone roadie and the most famous roadie, but I'll never be the most famous technical roadie because I was never a technician.
we're going to talk
And
about
you,
that. We're going to talk about
okay,
that. Hold on.
you're going to
Oh,
talk
don't
about
jump ahead of my questions because I'm
that.
really
Okay,
organized.
okay. Can't get a hold of the
I'm
school
super
teacher's
organized.
agenda.
I have my
She's got
questions
an
all in
agenda.
categories. I was working on them during my lunch hour and my prep period today. When my students were at phys ed, I was working on the podcast. And it's funny. I got a phone call while I was working. It was my lunch hour, and one of the managers wanted me to do something in the yearbook. She wanted me to add somebody to the yearbook as the manager, and I said, okay. And then she said, can you do it right now? And I said, sure, sure. But I was thinking, I'm on my lunch break, but I did it. Working on the podcast. But anyway, so so the question was from Kimmy Ray, was missing in
Kimmy.
action. Yeah, I'm not going to call her what you guys call
Kimmy.
her because I call her Kimmy Ray. I think she's very intelligent, this woman. She says a lot of things that are really interesting. She's a very intelligent woman. But she's the one who referenced the movie Almost Famous. She said there were 3 roadies in the film. Was one of them supposed to be sort of like you? Even though we know he never used Lynyrd Skynyrd, he never used any of the same names. I kind of got the impression that he was referring to a Lynyrd Skynyrd. But there was somebody by the name of Roadie Scully. There was a Roadie Greg, and there was a Roadie Mick in there. And you know what? My favorite comedian who is no longer alive, I didn't realize, Mitch Hedberg. I loved him. He was my favorite stand-up comic. Anybody who doesn't know who Mitch is, look him up. He was hysterical. But he was in the movie. He played the part of the Eagles road manager for the Eagles. Zach Ward played Red Dog. And Peter Frampton had a cameo. I didn't realize that he played a character by the name of Reg. So that's a really cool movie. If you haven't seen, anybody who hasn't seen Almost Famous, great movie. But so my question about Red Dog is, did you ever meet him?
Oh
Did
yeah,
you know
yeah,
him?
yeah. We did
Did.
shows with the Allman Brothers. Yeah.
Is he alive? Do you
No.
know?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. Because my next thing was going to be, let's get him on the podcast and talk
Oh
about.
yeah. Oh, we'd
Okay.
already done that if he was alive. Yeah.
Okay. All
No, the
right.
only the only roadies that are still alive from back then, like from Marshall Tucker, and I think Moon and Puff are still alive. With Marshall Tucker. I was talking to Doug, and he was telling me that him and Moon and Puff get together every now and then, and they kind of invited me to one of their parties they were going to have coming up. That was a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
And some of Skinny, I think, might be still alive from Charlie Daniels. And oh God, what was that other guy's name? The smaller guy. Oh man, I'm ashamed of myself for not remembering his name.
Moon and Puff and Skinny? Okay.
Yeah, Skinny. Yeah, they were big boys, man. I mean, them guys
Yeah,
were.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's
Skinny was
just
probably
Skinny.
about 400
Skinny was
pounds.
Charlie Daniels. He was like a linebacker for Tennessee
Oh,
Tech, man.
oh
He
my
was a big
gosh.
old boy. Yeah, the Moon and Puff. Yeah, and all those guys got together and they were like, walking around backstage,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of back there, just kind of, meandering around, and these guys, big old guys, are back there. It was kind of funny.
That's funny. All right. Well, if you haven't seen Almost Famous, check it out. And if anybody doesn't know who Mitch Hedberg is, oh my God, he was hysterical. What a great stand-up. All right, next question from your friend John Neal. He wanted to know, where did you get the name Stone Roadie? Did somebody suggest that, or you just said I'm the Stone Roadie? Where did that come from?
Oh, I started doing radio shows up at the Karma Radio, it's the internet thing,
Hmm.
and we would drink a bottle of whiskey during a 4 hour show. We'd drink a bottle of whiskey. Oh God, yeah, we were a mess. But yeah, I always said that I was a roadie. I was a roadie for Lynyrd Skynyrd, and nowadays all the roadies call themselves techs. They want to be
Yeah.
impotent. They want. But I was always a roadie, and I was always stoned. So I guess you could call me the stoned roadie. But so I guess I invented that name myself. Yeah, but yeah, it's
Kind of a
it's kind of it's
no-brainer.
kind of apropos. It kind of
Yeah,
fits.
it's a no-brainer. What else would you be called?
The stoned roadie. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like it.
All right. So then also, John Neal wanted to know about something that was close to home from you. Back in the 2016, those Pike County shootings in Ohio, also known as the Pike County Massacre, which occurred in April of 2016, when 8 people belonging to the Roden family were shot and killed in Pike County by members of the Wagner family. So now you were saying that was, though the question was, did you know the Wagner family personally? That was the question.
well, well, yeah, I kind of did. John and I went to that party, the fireworks party. Just God, I don't know. I was down there the 4th of July. I guess it was 10 years ago, and
Hmm.
John and I went to this party, and yeah, those guys that murdered those people were carrying me and John's beer around. We were standing in the kitchen talking to those guys that murdered those people. Yeah, just a couple weeks before they went and killed those people. And I guess what happened was that one of them guys had a child with that other family, and his ex-wife said, "You'll never see your child again," I guess, and the grandmother didn't like that, so she said, "Well, I'll just get rid of you people, and then I will just take the baby." So I guess that's what happened. They went and killed the whole family so they could get that kid. But that was all
Oh,
on court TV. That
God,
trial thing, yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Was
that was
that a
10 years
big,
ago.
big, big, horrible thing for your area? It was like the biggest thing that happened.
That wasn't my area. That was down in John Neal's area. That was
Oh,
down
John
in
Neal's area.
That was
Okay.
down in Appalachia, yeah. That's down
Okay.
there where, yeah, if somebody doesn't like you, you'll just come up missing and they won't find you, down there.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, yeah. Portsmouth, that's kind of the most violent city in Ohio. That's a port. There's a port down there, the
Yeah.
Ohio River port, Portsmouth. Yeah, that's a tough area down there.
I'm hearing a banjo in the background.
Well, that's where Deliverance was portrayed
Da 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 da
from.
da 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 da.
Yeah.
Don't do
Yeah,
that as an
that's what
opening
it's
riff.
like down there.
Don't ask Zach Lane to do that as an opening riff for the Stone Roadie
The
podcast.
Appalachia, man, that's a whole different world, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole that's there's the United States and then there's Appalachia. That's a whole different state.
Wow.
That should be its own state right there. Kentucky,
Oh
West
my
Virginia.
goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
And what states does
Well,
that
it's kind of like
Appalachian?
Southern Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so that's what he just wanted to know if you
I met
if you
him.
were
I didn't
yeah.
really know him, but I met him that
Wow.
one night. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. They were
Wow.
nice guys. I mean, we were sitting there talking in the kitchen, drinking beer, and
Oh
talking
my
less like.
God. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. All
Yeah.
righty. All right. Well, thanks for there you go, John. Yogi Cole, remember he was on a couple of months ago. He was a good friend of Bob Burns. He wants to know these questions are about you, by the way. These are Craig questions. Okay. I have them organized. Um, he wants to know, so after you graduated high school, you did graduate from high school, right? Did you graduate from high
Yeah,
school?
I was
Okay.
supposed to do it in '69, but I quit in '69. But I did go back in '70 and graduate. Yeah.
All right. Good. So you're a high school graduate. Good.
Uh-huh.
And then you went for training. Who did you originally go to work for? What did you do right after high school?
I started at W&J Chevrolet in North Canton, Ohio,
Okay.
right across from the Hoover vacuum cleaner company.
Oh, I got a
And then,
Hoover.
yeah, and then I went to Schoner Chevrolet in Hartville. But
Okay.
um, I was only 17.
Okay.
I left school and went to half a day and went to work in a Chevy garage, and they would send me to technical school, General Motors technical school, and
Okay.
I didn't go for general courses. I went for um, wind and water leaks, for new cars, for warranty things, people that have water leaks and wind leaks, and they sent me, and they taught me where to find wind and water leaks, and I did an air conditioner thing, and I can't remember all the specialty things that I went there for warranty work, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And then so that kind of background and training really helped you in your career when you started working as a technician and working with all of the things that you did with Skynyrd. I mean, right? You had a good basic
Well,
training and exposure.
it saved us money on truck rentals because I always disconnected the speedometer on those rental trucks. I'd rent them local and we'd drive them all over the country, and I'd disconnect the speedometer, and
Oh
then
my God.
we'd
There you go.
take it back with a few miles on it.
Uh,
I saved them some money.
so were you doing that kind of work when you met Skynyrd? Is that what you were doing when you met them?
Uh, no, I kind of decided that I didn't want to be a car mechanic anymore. I had long hair, and I was crawling around on a creeper and catch my hair under a creeper, and I was young, so they had me doing all the shit work, the rust proofing and bullshit, and
Mhm.
climbing under dashboards and fixing stuff, I don't know. I just got tired of being a mechanic and I just decided I didn't want to do that anymore. And cause I was kind of in limbo when ran into Skynyrd, so I was kind of looking for a new job or whatever.
What?
I
Wow.
think I sold all my tools, so I couldn't be a mechanic anymore. I don't want to
Wow.
be a mechanic. I'm gonna sell all my tools, so I can't.
You were in the right place at the right time. I'll tell
Yeah,
you. I can't believe.
I would say it's divine intervention, man. It was just something
Yeah.
I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Call me
Yeah.
crazy. Put the tinfoil hat on me. But a lot of stuff in my
Oh.
life is just too coincidental to be coincidence, but
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah. All right. Things happen for a reason. All right. Shane Turner. He wants to know, looking at the Marshall, referring to the Marshall Tucker Band, George McCorkle. Did you ever hang out with him? Did you ever go drag racing with him? He wants to
I
know.
that was that I didn't work with Marshall Tucker until 1984, 1983, 1984. So yeah,
Okay.
all those guys were all gone. When I started with Marshall Tucker, it was just Doug and Jerry Eubanks, the flute player.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It was just
Okay.
those two,
All right.
from the
Okay.
original band, yeah. Although I'd worked with the other guys, and I'd talk to them off and on, Toy and the other guys, Paul Riddle mostly because he was a drummer and friends with Artemis, So I talked to
Hmm.
Paul a little bit and George, and you know, but yeah.
I didn't realize, so did Marshall Tucker have a lot of turnover with the members of the band? Because I remember Toy Caldwell,
No, just after
you know,
Toy died, it kind of fell apart. I got well, George died, yeah,
okay.
George died, and Toy died. Yeah, so
Okay. Yeah, I remember 77. I had that Marshall Tucker album. I played that like crazy. Heard it in a love song, Can't You See? That was a great album. Loved it. So, all right. So John Haar, wants is asking, how was your relationship with Donnie Crutchmeyer? Did you get to party with him? Tell me what the story. Oh, and
he
about the
was.
girl, the girlfriend. Tell me. I love this stuff.
I kind of let out a little secret with Kathy. Now she wants me to expose it.
Of course, this is the skin formation, man.
Well, me and Donnie had an okay relationship until I started dating one of the secretaries down at Shoko, Monica, and yeah, he was kind of against me dating her for some reason. I don't know, but I was kind of in charge of some of this, advanced work with Skynyrd and stuff. So I would call Shoko all the time, and Monica would always answer the phone. So we would chat for quite a while, and we got to be pretty chummy on the phone. And so we ended up I flew her to Jacksonville, and we, you know, hung
And
out
you got to be really chummy with her.
for a little bit. And Donnie wasn't too appreciative. I don't know why he didn't appreciate that idea, but from then on we didn't have a lot to say to each other. Didn't I don't know.
Wait a minute. They weren't married. It was just this girlfriend,
No,
right?
I don't know. I think he thought I was a whore or something, and he didn't like the fact that I was dating Monica or something like that. That's just the way I assumed it. Oh, he was
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
She was
Oh,
too
yeah.
good. She was too good
Yeah.
for me. I don't deny it. But she
So
was fun. She was a lot of fun.
tell me about all the boxes she used to send you. Did
Oh
she
yeah, she
send
give
you
me a
stuff?
lot of. People want to know where I got all the Shoko shirts. Monica gave them. Yeah, I get a lot of stuff off of Monica.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. So there you go. That was a great question, John. Good job. I like that question. We're covering stuff we didn't know. All right. Now, was a question. Now, the next questions go to, this one's actually about a song. Steve Jones is asking, when did you first hear Ronnie say, what song is it you want to hear before Freebird?
Oh boy. Um, that it was probably
Because he said it
somewhere in,
on the album at the Fox. Is that something
yeah,
he
but
said a lot?
he said it a lot before that.
Okay.
That was kind of like that's what you at that point it was pretty well known that it got to a point where when Skynyrd came out, and that's what they expected the crowd to hear. What song is it you want to hear? Free
Right.
Bird, they kind of expected it, but they
So
would
I
come
have
out for a while. That a lot of people don't know. They played Crossroads a lot of times they would come out as an encore and they'd play Crossroads, and then they'd play Freebird. Sometimes they'd come out and play two songs. They'd come out and play T for Texas and Freebird, or in the
oh
early
boy.
days they came out and
Great.
played Crossroads and Freebird.
Mhm.
And I was told, Al, I said, man, you play Crossroads better than Clapton. And he goes, yeah, but he did it first, So that was
I agree. When I hear Skinner's Crossroads and I hear Clapton's Crossroads, I like Skinner so much better.
yeah.
I
But
really
Alan
do.
said, yeah, but he did it first, So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but say you did it better. You do it better. So, I have a question, just something that just came to mind. So, was Freebird always done as an encore?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
How many encores? Did they have a standard amount of encores that
Yeah,
they
they
did, or
like I
did they
said
do?
in the early days, they sometimes they would just come out and play Freebird if they were just didn't feel like doing two. But yeah,
Right.
they would come out and do Crossroads, and then Freebird, and then they started doing T for Texas, and then they'd do Freebird.
No,
But
but
yeah,
my
it was just,
question is, did they come out, do an encore, and go back and then come do another encore, or was only one encore
no, it
that
was
they
just
would
they'd
show?
come on and play two songs. Yeah,
And that was it. And then if people would
yeah,
put up their
yeah. Once they
lighters and
played
ask them to come
Freebird,
out
that
again,
was it. Yeah,
that was it. Okay. Because sometimes, some of these bands do a couple of encores. They come out, they do a couple songs, they go in the back, people are holding up their lighters, the band comes out again. There are multiple encores, but
they might have did that a couple times. I think they did them back to back though. I don't think they went off and came on and back off. I don't. God, I don't. That was a long time ago.
yeah. I'm always so it's disappointing when you go to see a band and they say thanks, they go out, and then they come back and they do an encore. And then when they leave, when all the lights come up, because people are waiting, wait a minute, I thought you were going to do another encore. And then the lights come up and everybody has to split. I hate that, because I love the encores. All
I think
right.
everybody knew that they weren't going to leave until they played Freebird, and then once they played Freebird, it was over.
Yeah. 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 Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. That was
It kind of,
amazing.
but kind of, that's what people expected. But I think they got to a point where they expected him to say, "What song is it that you want to hear?" You know?
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't leave without playing Freebird.
No.
Nobody would leave. They'd just be waiting. Well, they're going to have to play Freebird. That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
kind of like that thing when Ronnie's sitting in the boat, and he said, there's something about what all those people standing and
Yeah.
and for a song that you wrote, and that's what it's all about, and I think everybody wants to be a free bird. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But Alan wrote it too. I mean, what was Alan? Did he ever reflect on? Because apparently you said that he wrote the words or the lyrics came
Well,
from
I
something
guess
that Kathy had said.
Kathy said that if I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me?
Hmm.
I guess.
But he did he regard that as like one of his most biggest masterpieces? Was he
Well,
Is
I
he
think
kind of,
so. Yeah, I
yeah,
think yeah. I
yeah,
would. Yeah, yeah. I would say so. Yeah.
yeah. When you were hanging out with him, was he ever strumming that or playing that just casually, or
No.
was that no?
Mm-mm.
Mm, yeah,
No, he never practiced that song. No.
yeah, that would be so cool to. When I went to his house that time, I don't remember if the guitars were there. I know that the albums, he had albums before. I can't remember if the guitars were there, but if he had picked up a guitar and started playing for me, I would have probably fainted right there.
He always
I
had
mean,
he always had a Stratocaster or something sitting real close.
in that in
He
the
always
den.
had a guitar sitting close in case he
Yeah,
just had
yeah.
an idea. He always had a guitar there he could pick up and
Oh, I'd like to say that I remember seeing
immediately.
guitars there, but I don't remember.
He usually had a Stratocaster sitting around.
Well, all right. Next question is from somebody by the name of Gary. Oh, no, no. I'm sorry. The guy's name is Craig Pleasance. He wants to know what were Gary's rigs that he used in the early days?
Um, all different kinds. I mean, had an orange for a little bit, a very little bit, one of those orange amps, and he had a high watt for a little bit, and then the whole band used Fender Twins. They had Marshalls and stuff, and they got to where their stage sound was too loud, and they were always trying to keep their stage sound down, and
Mhm.
you can pick up the volume up in the up out in the off the PA. You don't really need your stage volume to be outrageous. You want to keep
Mhm.
it down as much
Yeah.
as possible. All that extra noise, all those microphones are open and if it's just a bunch of noise up there, all those microphones are picking up a bunch of stuff they don't need to. So if you keep the stage volume down, it's a lot cleaner. So they always tried to do that, and so they tried to get away from using big cabinets, Marshalls and stuff. But uh, Gary, he had an orange, he had a high watt, he had um, a Fender Twins, a Marshall. Uh, just and then they got the Peavies, and they were always satisfied with the Peavies. After
Mhm.
they got the Peavies, they never did anything else.
Okay. All right. That's great. Great answer. Thank you for that. I noticed I was thinking about Gary before about his home in Milton, Georgia. I just looked up on the internet. His house is still for sale. I would say the estate. That whole piece of property is still for sale, listed on the market, price unchanged. I'm surprised that hasn't, it's been a while since they listed that house and nothing. I don't know what they're going to do, but it's a lot. I think they paid about $1 million for it when they bought it for that piece of property. So I don't know what's going to
I
happen
think
with
they
that.
paid a lot more than that for it.
Oh, did they?
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Because I was looking at the history.
I had heard something like the place in Wyoming was like 2 million. Oh,
Oh,
that
really?
place in Georgia was nice, man. That was a lot nicer than
Yeah.
that. Well, the taxes on that place was, God, I forget what they were
Like
now.
20,000 or something like that.
A month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. We have to
something
check.
ridiculous. Yeah, it was something ridiculous a month is how much the taxes were. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So I would think they would have dropped it or done something, but I guess they'll just keep it at that price until somebody comes along. But it's a hefty price tag for that house.
I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know. I kind of heard Dale went back to Jacksonville so she could be close to the to Gary's gravesite, I guess. I guess there's fresh flowers
Oh,
on there. every week. I guess
Oh,
there's fresh flowers. I don't think she's put any kind of monument about, but from what I understand, there's a big bouquet of fresh flowers every week, so she must be doing that.
oh, that's so nice. That's really
But
beautiful.
from what I understand, Gary had quite a guitar collection. I heard he had like 75 guitars in a
Did,
collection,
did he?
bunch of amps and stuff, and that they were trying to get it all organized. And it's kind of wondered if he still had Ronnie's 53 Mercedes Cabriolet, and if he if he still had the Allen's 1939 Plymouth Coupe that me and Alan, because he got Allen's that Plymouth Coupe after Allen died. I still wonder if he still had that. He had a picture with that car one time. It was like a gangster car. Yeah, it was kind of like a gangster picture.
Oh, really?
That was a really cool car. I
Oh,
just wonder if he still has that, and if Dale has it or what. Yeah, but that's a nice. The house in Georgia was unbelievable. Nice
yeah.
place. Big,
What?
it's got a big lake on it, and yeah, it's a lot of property. It's like 80 acres or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
too bad. Well, I wonder if either of his daughters plays guitar
No,
or
I
his.
don't think so.
No,
No,
that's
they
too
don't play
bad.
guitar. No.
That's too bad. I saw the pictures of the home on their website. There's a grand piano. You could see a lot of pictures of Gary. Beautiful, beautiful photos in the pictures of the rooms. Really beautiful home. Well, we'll see if they sell the home. But if it were up here in this area, I would have sold within days. Oh my gosh. Up in New York, New Jersey, forget it. That would have been sold a long time ago. Okay. Um, Next question is, okay, Carol Locke. She was asking about Alan's driving skills, and she said, did he ever want to be a race car driver? So then we know that he wrecked Ronnie's Mercedes, right? I know that you said that he didn't have a license for most of the years that he was driving. He didn't have a license. So what was he? Was he not a skilled driver, or was he just a reckless driver? What was going on with his driving?
Oh, he just tried things that were above his technical skills to accomplish without crashing. We'll just put it there. I mean, he was an okay driver. He just took it past the point where he was in control.
Mm,
Alan was just like that. He was right on the edge, man, and he would take shit right on the edge, and when you do that in the car, you lose a lot.
yeah. You lose control of the car. So it's
Yeah, I
not that
mean,
he was,
he tried to jump that bridge with I mean, he just had no fear. He had that Jeep, and he tried to jump that bridge with the Jeep, and he jumped the bridge, but he landed on the front end, and then he lost control, and that's when he,
oh my
crashed
God.
and broke his eye sockets, and
Oh
you know, and then
God.
and he had that black Lincoln, he wrecked that, and then he had the burgundy Oldsmobile Tornado, he wrecked that and got the white one, and then he got wrecked Ronnie's Mercedes, and he got the Mercedes 450 SEL. He wrecked that. He
Mm,
wrecked the SEC, Mercedes SEC. He wrecked every car he ever had. He wrecked the 32 Plymouth. He wrecked every car he had. He wrecked the Oldsmobile. He gave it to me before he gave it to me. He tried to go around a curb and slid it into curbs and messed the front end up a
oh
little bit.
my gosh.
Bent the rim. I mean, he just wrecked everything. He just.
Yeah. Well, you said the Burgundy Toronado that he wrecked, that was the car I saw him driving. That was the car that he blew by us going like 90 miles an hour.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
he
wasn't
wrecked
wrecked at
them.
that time, but probably shortly thereafter he wrecked it.
He wrecked them all. Yeah.
So,
The only car I don't think he wrecked was the Mercedes station wagon he bought his wife Kathy. I don't think he
oh,
ever wrecked that.
I wonder whatever happened to that car. Any idea what happened to that
No, no,
station wagon?
uh-uh.
What about when he was driving a boat? Now we saw the footage of him driving the boat with a lot of people in the car. Your first wife was in the car, and the nanny was in the car, and Alan's daughters were in the car. I mean, the boat. Everybody was in the boat. So how was he driving a boat? Was he
He was
a
okay in a
good?
boat. Yeah, he was all
Yeah.
right in a boat. I mean,
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
drove it wide
So
open.
so he was probably
He wouldn't try no crazy, spins or nothing. He just
yeah.
drove it wide open. He didn't try any crazy stuff in a boat that I
Okay. Well, that's good. Especially had all these passengers in the boat. But so Carol wanted to know. So when Alan was a kid, I think I read that his father used to take him to the car races or something like that, right? And he used to take
Well,
him to
yeah,
see.
the racetrack was right there. I think all those guys went to the racetrack. That's about all there
Okay.
was to do in Jacksonville, I think, is go to that racetrack. It was right there.
So did he ever want to be a race car driver? Do you think?
All that would have been before my time. I only
Okay.
knew him as wanting to be a guitar player. I know he liked to drive fast, but I don't think he wanted to ever drive professionally at that point.
Yeah.
But he liked to drive fast, but I don't think he ever wanted to be like a professional race car driver or anything.
I wonder how that would have worked. Probably not well if he was
No,
driving
I
race
don't
cars. I don't think so. I don't think that would have
think.
not a good idea. All right. So
I
there
don't
you
think he
go,
could pass a
Carol.
drug test.
Yeah. All right. So then Danny Podesta, he wanted to know if Alan taught Gary the slide part on the Freebird song. How did that? Because I know they played, their styles were so different. They both learned how to play guitar together. Did Alan teach Gary that part? Or
That would have been before me, you know.
okay.
Like we talked about before. I heard that neither one of them were real good when they started. They were 15, 16, and they kind of taught each other, but they both play so totally different. They got
Mhm.
totally different styles. I don't even think they play the same favorite licks. I never heard them play. Guitar players have favorite licks they have, and they don't play nothing alike. And I don't know who started playing slide, before, or I don't know. That was all before me, so I don't know that.
Okay. We don't know that one, but they played well together. They played note for note, and it worked. It worked. Okay. This question is about the Honkettes. It's from Laura Johnson. Leslie, Cassie, and JoJo. Now we know they were all different. They had all different styles. Um, when they weren't practicing or performing or on tour, did they hang out together at all? Did they ever get together?
Oh, they would hang out together and go down in the restaurant and have lunch and just kind of hang out a little bit. But I don't think they were all very really chummy. They were kind of, they were so different personality wise. I don't
Hmm.
think they really meshed, but they hung out together, eating lunch and going shopping and stuff like that. But they were all different. I mean, Cassie was totally different than JoJo or Leslie, and vice versa for all of them. No, none of them were really. Um, they were all different. You
So it
know.
was really just a job. They worked together, really, but they weren't
Yeah,
friends or
they
really.
were sociable and kind of hung out as honkettes, but they were never really chummy.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, they seem very different. Their styles, their personalities, everything. seem very different about the three girls. Did everybody get along? Just the girls and the guys, all the band members, the girls, did everybody really get along with each other? Was there any tension or arguing or any kind of like,
No, no,
no?
it was everybody says it was a great big family, and it really
Mm,
was. I mean, everybody was just, it was all like family. We all lived together, even the
mhm.
road crew, you know,
Okay.
parts of the road crew, me and Kevin and Dean and, parts
Yeah.
of Joe Barnes, parts of Chuck. Chuck was good friends with Gary growing up, and Ronnie, and Chuck was good friends with Raymond, and Joe Barnes was uh, kind of good friends with Billy and some of them 38 Special people, and yeah, it was kind of one great big family, really.
So there were no egos or anything like that, right? Was
No,
something that you see a lot of times, bands and actors and actresses, that they just were all got along and were like a family. No drama or anything like that. No prima donnas or anything like that.
no, mm-mm.
Okay. That's good. It's good to hear. All right. Angela Leonard. We love Angela Leonard. She wanted to ask a question. So after the plane crash, you and I talked about this before, so I know what you're going to say, but we know they all had a lot of physical recuperation. But as far as mental and emotional healing, did they just turn to their families? Did they turn to each other? Did anybody go for any kind of professional help? Did they turn to drugs? How did they deal with this horrible, horrible ordeal? How did they deal with it to move forward?
Well, at the time of the crash, everybody was doing drugs. And then
Right.
after the crash, everybody just did more drugs,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
And I think that's probably how everybody tried to cope with what had happened, just drinking and doing drugs. And it got out of control. I mean, a lot of those guys should still be alive. It's
So, so with the Rossington Collins band, you said that that was a mess. You said there were a lot of problems. I know Alan, a lot of his problems were attributed to the loss of his wife, which makes sense. But what else? I mean, do you think that the drug problems and the all the issues with Rossington Collins were just because of they just were still not healing from? Maybe they weren't quite ready to regroup and reform and go back out again? Or do you think that there were a lot of underlying issues that contributed to the failure of the band? Like, what was the problem with Rossington Collins that you think caused them to just fall apart?
I was in shock. I think everybody was in shock. I mean, when you get that much trauma done to your body, I was in shock for at least a decade, I think, probably.
Mhm.
There's so much trauma, man. I mean, I was beat up, you know,
Yeah.
and you just try to go on, but you can function in the normal world, but it doesn't mean you're not in shock. It doesn't mean you don't have issues.
So when they said in prime time, we're alive, we're well, and we're ready, but they weren't really. They weren't really ready. Is that
Well,
what you're saying?
they were dealing with a lot of pain. I mean, there's a lot. That was a lot to deal with. To go from
Yeah.
what they were to try to get
Yeah.
it all back. There's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff there.
It was less than 3 years after the crash, after
And
losing their
plus,
friends.
there were other people involved that weren't there, they that the original band left people behind that were in charge that didn't used to be in charge, and it was hard to deal with
Mm.
those people. Those people
Yeah. Yeah. That
people
makes a
felt
lot of
like they
sense.
deserved
Right.
to be a part of the band, and they weren't a part of the band. They were just what was left over from what was the band, and Yeah, there was a lot of problems there. It was, a lot of how do you say it? It's just like Artemis's movie would have been a great movie if people would have just left it alone and not wanted to control it so much. And then I heard that there was other movies. Cameron Crowe and Ron Howard wanted to do movies about Skinner, and there were people that wanted so much control over it. They just said, it's just not worth it. That's what I heard, anyways. I don't want to,
Yeah.
say things that aren't true, but that's kind of stuff to what I heard, and from the way things kind of turned out with other people, I can see where that happened. That
Yeah.
they wanted so much control over stuff that it was just never happened.
It's
It's
funny.
too bad.
Well, before we were talking about, there's a website. I just found this today. There's a website called rockandrollglobe.com. There was an article called This Bird You Cannot Change, Ronnie Van Zant at 75, Remembering the Magic and Mystery of Skynyrd. And this article came out in January 15th of 2023. And the article was written by Jim Sullivan, and I'm just going to read one paragraph. It was a really good article, but I'm just going to read one little excerpt, based on what you just said about people trying to come out with projects and movies and things. He said, a couple of years ago, I was in touch with Marjorie Lewis. She was a former film executive at Geffen, HBO, and New Line Cinema. She wanted to put together a Lynyrd Skynyrd musical for the stage, and she asked me for some ideas. She had done a lot of research, and she tried to secure the rights. Unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition for a variety of reasons. So that's, again, what could have put the brakes on this stage musical of Lynyrd Skynyrd. That would have been really interesting if this had gone through. So that's a shame.
Yeah. It's like when it all started, it was like there has to be at least 3 original members in the band, or it just ain't going to happen. And
Yeah.
now basically there's, except for Ricky, there's none. And it's and people say that Ricky is not even an original, which I consider him original, but he wasn't one of the original 3 for sure. But I never thought they would got to the point where McCary was gone and they would still go. But I don't see anything. I don't see anything wrong with it. But that's the way the original thing went down. But
Yeah.
yeah, it just seems like, that somebody always wanted more control than the other thing, and it was that having control was more important than anything else, which I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. All right.
Kind of like the Democrats these days, having control is more important than anything else. Having control is more than the good of the country, having control is more than the good of the band. It's kind of the same situation.
Yeah, and the memories and the legacy that we remember. For me, I don't. When people say they like Lynyrd Skynyrd and they're really young, I say, well, which Lynyrd Skynyrd? The original Lynyrd Skynyrd or the Lynyrd Skynyrd now? To me, Lynyrd Skynyrd is the original band. That's just my point. It really ended in 1977. That's just the shirt that I wear is, memory of Lynyrd Skynyrd, the original, post-crash band. So, but anyway, they'll continue if they love doing what they're doing, then so be it. Move on to the next question.
Well, the Rossington Collins band was a really good band.
I loved. That's what I was asking about them before. Yeah.
They had to replace Steve and Ronnie, but they did it. They had some unbelievable crowds, but the pressure was just too much.
Yeah, and that's why I asked that question. Were they physically, they looked like they were healed, but emotionally and mentally, were they really ready to go out?
Yeah, I
And
mean that
you know,
was God 77, and Roston and Collins folded in 83. I mean that was only
mhm,
6 years later.
yeah, I
You
know.
know, I mean that was everybody was still in alcoholics, drug addicts. It was bad.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I was right there with them too, man. How I lived through Roston and Collins and Alan Collins, I don't know, boy.
You have like you're like a cat with 9 lives,
And
Craig.
then even the tribute band was
Yeah,
pretty, pretty um
pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty out there too at times, yeah.
All right. All right, let's move on. We still have some more to go here. I thought this was going to be a short podcast.
God, I did too, man. Jiminy.
Are you getting tired? You want to stop? We could continue this next month when I come back on. You're getting tired. I said, I don't think we have much. He said, well, that's okay. We could do a half-hour podcast. So, well,
Yeah,
let's
we
get.
do half hour, 40 minutes. We'll be out of here, man. Yeah,
Well,
shoot.
either way, people are going to complain. They're complaining if you don't do skid formation. They're complaining. I know I love
Oh, it's
everybody,
funny.
but
I wrote down here because I keep forgetting, but my buddy Chris Eldridge, he always sends in a donation. Every
aw,
couple weeks he'll send in a donation, and he kind of wrote to me. He goes, "Man, don't worry about them people that complain about your jibber jabberies. I like your jibber jabber, you know." But
yeah,
some people like us to get off topic, and some people don't. But that's just life, man. You're not gonna please everybody, so we don't even try. I'm just amused by the whole thing. But
yeah.
all I know
Enjoy.
is if we don't do a show Monday and Wednesday and Friday, people bitch about it, and then well, where's Kathy Godsey? What's happening out here? God, they just, it's crazy. But God, I
Yeah.
got people calling me all the time, man. God, oh God, we love your podcast, man. And if we don't do one, people are on there going, "What happened? Where's the podcast? Where's that?" It's kind
Aw,
of humorous, But
I
yeah,
know.
I'm just glad I don't have to do any real. My process is very limited doing these. I just say, "Well, what time do I need to be there?" You know.
I know.
And
I
then
know.
I kind of do the intro, and then what are we going to talk about?
Well, we still have a couple of things to do here, so we better move on. Otherwise,
All
we'll be
right.
doing. Well, this is
Quit the
going to be the
jibber
longest
jabber,
podcast. I know. Yeah,
huh?
there are a couple of good things on here. Okay, question from well, somebody wants to know about fair trade. The band Jim Mitchell wants to know about fair trade. Now, I looked them up. They're a band from Buffalo, New York. Looks like they formed in 1968. They reunited in 2010. They have an upcoming show this month in upstate New York. But I guess people ask because of those photos of Alan with one of the guys from Fair Trade, right? Those pictures
They're
that
still
keep
they're still
circulating.
around.
Yeah, yeah. And I got hair on my
Oh,
face. Looks like
oh,
they maybe disbanded, but now it says reunited in 2010. And
oh,
I looked
wow.
on their website, and there look like it's up and active, and they have something going on in New York at the end of July. I think next week or something like that. Yeah. So they're still around. But did you know any of those guys personally?
The only way I remember those guys is um, just from I see pictures of Alan with that guy with the Fair Trade T-shirt, and
Hmm.
then that kind of sparks a little flame in my head. But that's the only recollection I have of the guys. I don't really remember who they
Okay.
were or anything.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I remember that shirt. It was like a yellow t-shirt that said fair trade. That's all
Yeah,
I
there was a couple of guys that Alan took pictures with them. Yeah, and that's I see those pictures and I remember, but I don't really remember much about them though.
okay. All right, move on to the next one. Jim Dolan. wants to know Ronnie's nickname Wicker. He said, I kind of heard that was from somebody who went to school with Ronnie, that he was kind of a nerd. And he wants to know if this guy is still around. Now, he's probably, we don't know
Yeah,
even know
that's
who was, right? We
you
don't know
know
who this
what?
guy is.
Yeah, we talked about that before. It was some guy that Ronnie and some of his buddies went to school with, and I think Gene Odom wasn't. I've asked Gene around him, and he doesn't really remember. But the
Mm,
guy's name was Van Wicker, and I heard he
mm.
was a little light in the loafers or whatever. And and they used to kid each other. And Ronnie's name was Van Zant, and this guy's name was Van Wicker. And
Oh.
some of Ronnie's buddies would say, "You act like that Van Wicker character," and then I guess they just dropped the Van and just started calling him Wicker. But there was, from what I understand, when I started with the band, there wasn't but 6 or 8 people, maybe even not that many, that called Ronnie Wicker. And
Mhm.
I just kind of heard a couple people call Ronnie Wicker, and I just didn't think anything about it. One day I just said, "Hey, Wicker," and he kind of looked at me kind of weird, just kind of grinned. You know,
Oh,
I just call him Wicker, but yeah, I really didn't know why. I just, but
yeah.
he never said anything about it. But yeah, that's what I heard, that there was some guy he went to school with named Van Wicker, and his friend, they used to kid him that, called him, you act like that Van Wicker character. And then
Well, you know what? It'd be nice if somebody has that yearbook. If anybody has that yearbook from
that would
Ronnie's school. Yeah.
we were talking before. I said that'd be cool if his sister had.
Mm.
I don't, because I don't think Gene has any of that stuff. His sister might know, remember that story. Yeah, but I wouldn't know who went to school with Ronnie. My God, yeah.
He must have graduated in the class of 67 if he was born in 49,
Well, God, they quit
49, right?
school in sophomore year or something
48.
like that. So you'd have to go back and find people that he went to school with in the eighth grade or whatever,
Yeah, that's
ninth
right. Maybe in the
grade. Yeah, I
60s.
think they quit school in 10th or 11th grade.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. That's an interesting question. All right. So Les Evie wants to know, we talked about Tammy, Ronnie's relationship with his daughter Tammy. Now we know that I did some research. Ronnie was married to Nadine for 2 years, from 67 to 69. Tammy was born in 67. Now I found out that Nadine, she died 2 years ago. And Tammy died exactly 2 weeks later. Actually, Tammy, Ronnie's daughter, died July 12th, 2022. So that
Oh,
was 2 years
wow.
ago. And Nadine, the mom, died 2 weeks before her. So the question was, do you know, did Ronnie, when you were working with them, so you started working with them in 74. So the little girl was about 7 years old. Did Ronnie ever talk about her? Did you ever meet the little girl or anything like that? No?
No, no,
Okay.
well, it wasn't that long. Well, Melody was born in 76, I guess, and
Okay.
I
Right.
started with the band in,
Right.
in 74, and yeah, Ronnie really never talked about Nadine or
Or
Tammy.
Tammy. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and
Hmm.
he never, we were, we'd be the only time he would ever mention that is we were out fishing or something. He would never
Okay.
have any reason to talk about Nadine or Tammy. He never did that I remember.
Okay.
I don't think I even knew that he had a daughter before After Melody was born, I don't even remember when I found out that Ronnie had another daughter.
Well, yeah. So
Really
she was
wasn't ever
born.
talked about. Ronnie never really talked about it.
Okay.
Um,
All right. So yeah. So she was born obviously before for Melody. She
oh
was born
yeah,
in
yeah.
67.
Melody
So
was born in '76, I guess.
yeah. All right. So we don't really know what the
77. So it
relationship
was been
was.
77 because yeah,
Yeah.
well no 76 because that's when I took those films was in '76, and she was
Okay.
just born. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Kimmy Ray has she wanted to know the lyrics from I Need You. She wasn't quite sure of the lyrics. She thought that they were something a little off, but I looked them up, and the lyrics for I Need You are, "Ooh baby, I love you. What more can I say? Ooh baby, I need you. I miss you more every day." She thought there was something else that he said. She said
Yeah,
right? Yeah, those are the
there's one
lyrics,
there.
right?
Yeah, yeah. You're more than just a piece of leg is one of the words of the. You're more than just a piece of leg. Ooh, baby, I love you. That's in there.
That is in there. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well, then
You're
that's not.
more than just a piece of leg. Yeah.
Oh, that is in there because when I looked it up
Uh-huh.
under the
Yeah.
lyrics, I saw he said, "Ooh, baby, I need you. I miss you more every day."
He does say that. I miss you
Okay.
more and more every day. Oh
Okay.
yeah. But
All
yeah, you're
right.
more than just a piece of leg. Yeah, he says that
Okay.
too.
I didn't see that part. I looked up part of the lyrics. So I said, no, no, it's clean. It's clean.
Yeah, he says that too.
All right. Let's go back and look at that again. All right.
I
Jim
know
King.
every word to that song. I woke up early this morning and the sun comes shining down and it found me wishing and hoping that Mama you could be around. Ooh, baby, I need you.
You. All right. So Kimmy, I guess you were right. I didn't look at all the lyrics, but I looked at what I saw and I was like, nah, there's nothing. It's fine. All right.
No, it
Jim
says,
King wants to know, did original Skinner ever tour with Grand Funk Railroad that you know?
we did a show with Grand Funk one time, I believe. Yeah, we did
Okay.
a show with Grand Funk. I kind of liked some of the Grand Funk songs. One of my buddy Steve Etheridge, they do. I go out and see them here locally. They have Murphy's Law. Matter of fact, they're playing in a local gig here in town. But
Hmm.
yeah, they play a Grand Funk song. It's pretty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
What do they play? Which song?
Oh, doom, 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 doom. I can't think. Uh,
Okay.
dun, 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 dun,
I
dun.
don't know that song.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
All
Dun,
right.
dun, 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 dun.
All
I
right.
can hear it in my
First
head, but I can't.
person who can tell us that song wins a sticker. All right.
Yeah. Dun, dun,
Name that
dun,
song.
dun, 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 dun,
I don't know. I can't think of any Grand Funk songs off the top of my head.
dun.
All right. Got a couple more. Let's move along here because it's getting late. Saturday night and I got to go out. All right. Let's go. Right. Anyway, couple of questions here. Let's move along. We have a lot more than I thought. All right. Shari Padula. Hey, Shari. She wants to know, did Skinner ever do any gigs or party with the Fleetwood Mac people? Stevie Nicks, Christine McVie, Mick Fleetwood, Lindsey
No,
Buckingham.
Ron Eckerman, he managed Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood
Yes.
Mac lived in his house and stuff, and they
Yeah.
blamed Ron for breaking up McVie and what was her name? The two
Christine.
Christine. Yeah, that she was dating one of the Ron Eckerman's lighting guys, and yeah, yeah, and yeah. Well, they were living
Oh,
in that house. Yeah, Ron was real involved with Fleetwood Mac. Yeah,
Okay. All
but
right.
yeah, we never had any shows with them that I remember.
Gigs. Okay. All right. Two more things and then we're going to wrap it up. Ready? Two more things.
Hmm.
For today. Here we go. Let's move on up here. Okay. The last time I was on, somebody asked about Ronnie, a photo of Ronnie on crutches, and we weren't quite sure, but Steve Jones clarified. He said that photo of Ronnie on crutches was at Soldier Field. He said he heard it playing baseball sliding into second base. On the Asbury Park show from July of 1977, when they come on for Freebird, you can see him limp up to the mic. That was a few days after Soldier Field. Do you remember that incident or that concert?
No, I really no, I
Okay.
don't. We played baseball quite a bit, but I don't
Okay.
remember him
All
twisting
right.
his ankle or anything like that.
All right. Well, you can't remember everything. You know what? You just can't. You just can't. All right.
I was stoned, you know.
You were the most famous
We
Stone
might
Road.
we might get monetized for this one. We haven't really broken any rules. We didn't make it last week either.
That's because I'm the executive producer on this show for this one.
We might get monetized for
I
this
know. And subscribe, peoples. Come on, subscribe,
one.
like, do whatever you have to do. Okay. One more thing. Okay, ready? And then I gotta go out. Um, somebody by the name of Black Widow Killers said, oh, I know. We were talking about last time. We were talking about Lenny Kilmister. Kilmister, the he was a roadie, right? For Motorhead, Lenny Kilmister.
Lenny,
Remember
yeah, Lenny,
Lenny?
yeah.
Okay. We were talking about him being a roadie. So Black Widow Killer said, in an interview, Lenny was saying that shame on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They borrowed his Ace of Spades leather jacket and they never returned it. The people in charge said they lost it. So shame on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for doing that. I guess you can't trust them with everything, So we don't know what happened there, but never got the jacket back. So
Yeah, that was
that
a cool
was it.
jacket. I remember that jacket, yeah.
You do. I don't
Oh
remember
yeah,
that.
the Aces, but yeah. Yeah.
I don't recall. I don't know too much about Motorhead. Don't know anything about that band.
I remember that jacket. Yeah, he wore that jacket a lot.
Oh, he did. Well, it's missing. If anybody knows the whereabouts, it was stolen, apparently missing from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So if you know where it is, let us
Oh
know.
wow.
Put Craig's son, Chad, put him on the case, the private
Oh, by
investigation.
the way, Chad's wife Lisa went through the operation. Yeah,
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, they
Thank
got that out
God.
of her, and yeah, it wasn't cancerous, and it was
Oh, thank
successful.
God.
Yeah,
We were
that was
worried about that. Yeah.
yeah, that getting it out of her. Thing was 20 pounds, man.
Oh,
It was
geez.
pretty dangerous.
My
But yeah,
gosh.
they got it out of her. Yeah.
Did they show her when they took it out? They should show her what it
I
was.
don't know. I didn't run. Automotive called me this morning and told me that he talked to Chad, and Chad was pretty burnt out. I guess he had to have her get up. They had to have her there at like 5
Wow.
so they could get the operation at 7, and then he gave me a call about 10 and said it was successful, but. Chad asked the automotive to call me. He said he was burnt out, man. He's been dealing with that for about a month. Yeah.
Now, where did what hospital? Was this in
I
Jacksonville?
don't know which hospital they took her
Oh,
to. Yeah.
but I mean, was it local or did they have to take her out of state? Because you said they were concerned
No,
about
no, no.
finding
They did it in
surgeons.
Jacksonville. I guess they
Good.
finally put a team together. I guess they went through a whole bunch of tests before they even attempted it. So
Oh boy, thank God.
yeah,
That's
that
really
was
scary.
rough.
Well,
Yeah.
glad she's
But she'll be
doing
down.
well.
Yeah, gosh, she'll be down for like 10 weeks or something like that. It's like a well, yeah, it's like they have to do like a full hysterectomy, and I guess once you do that, you can't even lift 10 pounds
Oh my
for like
goodness.
10 weeks or something like that.
Oh, hysterectomy. I didn't realize. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, they had to take a bunch of stuff out.
Hmm.
She didn't
Wow.
want to do that. Jess said, "Well, you ain't having no more kids, you know."
Now she's not.
Just take all that stuff out before it goes bad, because a lot of those female organs go bad when you get older. Take them
Well,
out, and get rid of them before they go
well, not unless you really have to. All right. Well, I hope
Good.
everybody who's watching this is happy that they got enough skin information. Okay. Everybody, please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Like the show. Anything that we weren't quite sure about, just, write comments and then clear it up for us if we made any mistakes. But if you guys want to do a 100th, 200th episode, let me know. I can try to make
Yeah, we'll
myself.
put something together. We don't. Yeah, we were trying to figure. Griff was asking me about that. I goes, God, I don't remember we did anything for 100. We just, you know.
Yeah.
So I
Yep,
guess we
we did.
did. Yeah. So
Hmm.
we'll have to do something. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was fun being back on here. And I'm going to head out now. It's Saturday night. I got things to do, places to go. And I'll see everybody in a couple of weeks. So have a great rest of the weekend, Craig. And oh, you have to sing. You have to sing. You're not getting off that easy. Not when I'm on here.
I can't just blow on my whistle.
Oh, no, no, no. Please don't. Don't do that. Sing.
All right. Well, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep token until then. See you later, alligator, at the wild crocodile. And that's a wrap, and we're out of here. The Stone
Bye.
Roadie Show,
Have a
Saturday
great
night
weekend.
special. And let me find the I'm out of here button. There it is before I say we're out of here. All right, we're out of here. Cut.